Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Today we're going to do a little bit of a different reading. It's still going to be checking the energies for Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine, but I will be asking specific questions. And we'll do 2 questions and we'll get answers for each of the twins of what is going on, what kind of topics are of interest, are of trend in the collective, what do we need to know. Of course, I will start with an oracle deck. I'll get a card for each twin, and then if I have time, I'll also post some messages between the twins. Welcome to my channel if you're new or you're coming back. Please, if you like what I'm doing, don't forget to like the video, to subscribe to my channel, to share it with others, to leave a comment. Anything and everything is appreciated. Also, I am doing personal readings, so you can book them through, well, you can request them, right, through my website, or you can just email me and we'll agree about whether you want to do a live session or recorded one. I do both, and what type of reading you want, obviously. I do coaching as well, and I do take donations. There's info about Venmo and PayPal accounts in the description box, and also I have an Amazon wish list with different types of tarot decks, mostly tarot and oracle decks, so if you'd like to support me in that way, feel free to take a look, especially if you find a deck that you really like. That will mean that I'll be using it, you'll be seeing me working with it, and getting the downloads and helping the collective with it, which would be marvelous. Okay, let's get a card for Divine Feminines. I'm still, as of now, in Big Bear, California. I will be here for another couple of days, and then I'm off to Nevada, where I won't have a chance to do the readings for a while, so I'm hoping that I will do a bit upfront so that I can then get you guys going with those readings while I'm out in the wild digging crystals with some beautiful Divine Feminines that are friends of mine. Okay, so for Divine Feminines, we have your lighthouse guides you home to the stars. How beautiful it is. I was just talking about it in the last reading, about remembering that you are the light, that's the key gift, that's the key concept, that's the key idea. And of course, we talk a lot on this channel about inner work, personal growth, right? Like personal journey, that is of like the highest importance before anything that you do for somebody else, working with somebody else. And the truth is that by doing your work, your journey, discovering things, cleansing your energy, you're actually already doing a lot for the collective. And that goes for both feminines and masculines, because I've heard that before, that sometimes there's a thought that the masculines, because they are less aware, because they are not doing maybe as much of spiritual conscious work, that it's not the case, but it's not true. Because the karmic path that they're walking, the patterns that they're working through, that they're experiencing in a tougher, rougher karmic way, but they still go through them, they still learn, they, like that process is happening. And that means they are impacting the collective as a lighthouse, as a light, even if they don't talk about it, even if it remains their private story. And of course, that expands multiple times if they do go out to the public, or if they are a public figure and they have a chance to reach a wider audience, right? Because that's what happens. We are so energetically pumped, like we're so strong energetically, that people get attracted to that. It's like this hidden charisma that we have, if you wish, right? People listen, people take it in, it matters to them. And I've seen it with me all my life. It wasn't comfortable for me for a while because I was a shy kid, and I was kind of brought up in a way where it wasn't really that good, I guess, or like I wasn't good enough so that if somebody was like really looking forward to like doing what I was doing, to having what I was having, to listening what I was saying and taking it in as an ultimate truth, like it was like, is it really who am I to talk like that? Or why would people think that that's the best or that's so awesome, right? But that actually is how our energy works. That's that light that we're exuding. That's why it's so critical to keep cleansing your energy, to keep grounding yourself, to stay balanced, to stay high vibe. And we talk about that a lot as well. That's what guides you home to the stars, for sure. You, and I will add people around you, people who are in your vicinity, physically or virtually, right? Your audience, your gang, your tribe, your family, your friends. It works for any and all who are open to listen, to hear, to see. For masculine, we have, you contain the entire universe encoded within you. Yeah, actually, just what I was just talking about, my spiel, it actually is connected to this as well, right? How much our personal story relates to collective patterns, right? And we, of course, it has many different connotations of how connected we are to nature, to space and planetary movements, to what happens with seasons. If you are living, for example, in a climate that has seasonal changes, right? Like there's so many layers to this message. How we're impacted by lunar movements, etc., eclipses, everything. But also that another layer to it, thank you for the download, is that we are, the creation of God, and that saying that we are resembling the God's template, right? So it's not really, sorry guys, it's not really fair to separate yourself from it, the good and the bad, right? Remembering that this is like, that you have all these beautiful things in you, but also what you do in your personal life, as much as it may seem very much just your story impacting you, it's not true. It's impacting all of us, and that's what we're working through. And if you also take a look at the working with ancestral energy, with generational karma, it goes into a whole new level, right? Because say, I could be working through some karmic patterns that were actually introduced by my grandparents, by my grandparents. So they maybe thought that whatever they did just impacted them, or they didn't even think about it, because a lot of us are really in that kind of tunnel mindset. We're focused on ourselves, but not for a bad reason. It's just that the way it is. And now that pattern kept going, let's say just an example, right, through 5 generations after that, and it's still not healed. So I'm here, and maybe if I'm more conscious, or I take a closer look, right, I do this work for myself, again talking about inner work, I will notice and I will do something about it. So there is a better chance that I will stop this chain. I will reprogram the DNA level energy, right? So that my kids and their kids and their kids will not have to work through this pattern anymore, will not have to struggle with it. And it may manifest in all kinds of ways, right? For me, a lot of my karma manifested with health issues that I was born with. So many of them. It was crazy. It was like, I'm still, every time I think about it, my mind is blown away. But, that's the thing. And then whatever decisions you're making in your life, especially if they're iffy decisions, or they're actually not good vibe, not high vibe energy decisions, there is a good chance that they will impact generations to come. So no pressure, but that perspective helps. Sorry, it was a lot, but somebody needed to hear that message, and it was pretty important to see that kind of global perspective of what we are doing with our lives, especially as twins. Yeah, that's another thing, right? Light workers, twins in particular, if it works that way for every single person, it works like that for us like 10 times more intense, right? Like it leaves the traces that are much more impactful. Okay, let's get to questions. I don't think I'll have time for the messages, but I have my beautiful Tarot of Magical Moments, mystical moments here, and I have my spellcaster deck. So I'm gonna use this for the feminine, but also I'll use it for the first question. So let's get the first question of what are we supposed to know about for the twin flame journey at the moment. We have Three of Swords and the Hermit. So what kind of karmic pain are the twins going through right now, right? It seems like it's all happening in solitude, so we may not know what's happening with the other person, but there's some sort of internal conflict or some kind of painful reminiscence that the twins are going through. So let's take a look to see what that is for each of the twins. So what is it for divine feminines? Okay, have Knight of Cups and King of Wands. I'll pull cards for the masculines as well, and then I'll speak on that. What are masculines working through? Wow, the cards are pretty loud. We have Justice, Page of Swords, and the Temperance. Okay. Very interesting cards in this deck. And you see, like, we're just talking about the heartache and the pain, and we have immediately Knight of Cups. We have this big heart, this huge heart, which is not usually the case with this card. And then for King of Wands, it's like this fire also goes like around his chest, right, around the area of the heart chakra. It's like, and he's drumming, right, and it's kind of like spreading out. So it's like, to me, it's like a ritual. It's like a self-ritual of cleansing. It's almost like divine feminine is approaching it in a conscious way of like, okay, there are certain things that I need to clear, that I need to get to the bottom to. And I know that it might hurt. It's likely it is gonna hurt, but it's important to get through it. And while I'm doing it, I'm also gonna be taking care of myself. I'm gonna be treating myself with extra kindness, extra love, to make sure, taking it easy, to make sure that I can self-regulate, that I can handle it in a healthy way without having, I don't know, a meltdown, get into a breaking point, or whatever it could be, right? So it's some conscious decision to work with another pattern. So I actually spoke about it a little bit a few readings back. I think it was for the new moon event of what this new cycle is going to be, and the opportunity for divine feminines was to heal an old pattern, an old cycle, right? So something connected with the pattern of love and attachment, some sort of unhealthy attachment, understanding what it's like, and turning it into a healthy attachment in your life, whatever it is, right? Like starting with what happened, why it was not right, and then building a picture of what is right, which still might not be ideal, right? But if you're approaching it with a conscious mind, in a place where you're driven by this loving energy, where your heart chakra is open, you feel safe, right? It's a very different story. Not to mention that you're not going to be taking in automatic stereotypical patterns from either society at large or specific figures of authority in your life, specific or certain figures of authority in your life. There you go. Okay, let's see what we have for the masculines. It's actually pretty big. I don't just here have two major arcanas. So there is a lot of balancing out, as you can see. What I'm noticing about the Page of Swords in this deck, of course, is this huge sword that she's holding up, too big for her, really, right? So the masculines are feeling like there is so much stuff that's expected of them, and they get a lot of thoughts about it. Swords are about the thought process. They get a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, a lot of insights that feel overwhelming, that feel like, whoa, that's a lot to process, right? Or never even thought about it until now. Or like, okay, I had the dream. What is it supposed to tell me, right? Like there is this amount of information, huge amount of information that's uploading into, being downloaded by DMs. And they kind of intuitively get into space where they want to balance out, to kind of like get to a place where they can take it one at a time, so to speak, right? And the universe is helping them, the divine is helping them with this rebalancing. Temperance is more about self-regulation and self-balance, right? The yin and yang, the active and passive, different, like the day and night, the light and shadow, right? Because information comes in and it shows a lot of let's say positive and negative information, right? Or enlighten certain positive and negative aspects of life, supposedly, right? Like what is the how do you say it, like what's the like the shadow and the light related stuff, and how to deal with it then, right? Like, okay, this was good, this was good, this was good, writing it down, taking notes, all right? This was unhealthy, this was unhealthy, this was unhealthy. Okay, how do I want to reprogram that? And a lot of it is connected to relationships, and I just mentioned that about love patterns and attachment styles. So that's where the Justice card comes in, because Justice card is a Libra energy, which is about more about balancing out relationships. This is when we interact with other people, right? So if I have it figured out for myself, I'm in my balanced state, other people may not be on the same page, right? What happens there? How do I interact with them? How do I put myself out there so that it's not a conflict, but also I do present myself in an authentic way, right? A lot of these big questions, wow. And that's how their heart got broken so many times when they were trying to be authentic, divine masculines, I mean, trying to be authentic, trying to be honest, and it didn't work well, right? And it broke their heart, the way the other person reacted or behaved. So now there's this big revisiting of like, how do I make it work? And it should be okay that the other person has a different opinion on life, right? But how do I avoid this heartbreak? Because that's just too expensive, you know? Every time you have a serious conversation with someone and you end up with a broken heart. Like, what's that about? All right, second question I'm gonna ask from this Spellcaster deck. What's another question? Just need to be mindful of time a little bit, but now it's actually 11:11 on the clock. Sign for someone. Okay. We have all in reverse cards. So the Star, the Hierophant, and the Four of Swords. Yeah, so this second question is going to be more about mission and how do you do enough to kind of still follow your dreams, but also not to get yourself over exhausted or get yourself in a place, it's an interesting concept, where you become this guru that people go to for everything in life, right? Like almost like they want you to make a decision for them, right? How to find that balance. Let's see what we have for Divine Feminines. So questions about mission and finding a good balance between doing this highly spiritual work, helping people, but also not overwhelming yourself and not turning into a go-to person for everything. Especially I'm getting for people in your life, because it might be a little easier to avoid that in the virtual world. There are ways to do it, but and if it's somebody you don't really know in your life, then it's a little easier. But when it comes to your friends and family, people who actually know you, have connection to you, and they know what you do, and they trust you, they love you, they rely on you, you know, it can get too far. Okay, we have Nine of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and Seven of Swords. Yeah, so exactly, this is like the key thing here. It's a very interesting card in this deck. The key here is to stay your unique self, right? To do what feels right. So at least whatever next step you take in your mission, it's supposed to be your personal feeling, your personal take on it, right? What is it and how you're going to do that, right? So don't try to approach it from a pure business perspective, and also don't think of it as something that, how do I put this, Don't think of it from a people-pleasing perspective or from a perspective of just a personal profile, right? I mean, you still have those things, but it shouldn't be in the forefront. The forefront should still be about doing what feels right, what feels good to you. And you see, like, even she's got eggs here, actually. I don't know if you could see eggs here, and she's holding this egg close to her heart, right? Like, to me, these are these projects, this work. Like, it's supposed to be, you should be able to give it a hug and feel good about it, right? Not be like, I don't even know what it is or how I got here, right? Or I only did it because that's what is trending now, or that's what some mentor told me to do, right? If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. What do we have for divine masculines? That's gonna be interesting. Okay, we have a judgment card and oh, Three of Swords in reverse now. That's interesting. So for the masculines, a lot of it is connected. A lot of what they're doing or they're going to be doing is connected, as I was just mentioning at the beginning, to their personal story, the insights they're getting and the healing they're getting for the past issues. And it looks like they are doing it. This is in the forefront, whether they like it or not, right? And the mission organically comes out from that. It may not look like, I'm going to be working with energies, right? It may be something else, but it will still be, always be about taking care of others, nurturing, helping somebody in need. If they have something to give, so they have something to help with, right? And the more they get the downloads and the more they heal their heart, both are equally important. The clearer this picture will be of what is it they want to do and what is it that they can do from that perspective. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it here. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye, everyone.